The wave of the ban of tricycle, popularly known as Adatu Sau, that Kano, has finally been banned in the states. In a statement by the public relations officer of Kano Traffic Agency, Karota, Nabilus Issa, the Kano state government has banned tricycle riders from operating on some major parts of the metropolis within the states. According to Karota, the order was decided after the Kano state government had provided another means of transportation that will be used to convey the passengers on prohibited roads. The ban will effect from Wednesday, November 30th, 2022, from tomorrow. From tomorrow. You know, Kano is just like Lagos. Yes. When you want to take, a decision like this, government will have to wait. They have to go back and forth, look at the pros and cons, look at the job losses, look at the alternative, look at what's...
And political implications.
Yes, implication. For Governor Abdullahi Danduje to take the bull by its own right now to want to ban this keke in Kano.
Yes, you may not be...
Outright ban.
You may not be a fan of Governor Abdullahi Ganduje, but when you watch him very well, it's one leader who knows how to take decisions and when to do it. When he stopped the bikes, Okada, there was no problem. Let's go on tricycles. Then, now, what he's doing, even long before he ever, alerted the tricycle operators, he had purchased more than enough vehicles. Believe me, it is not throughout Kano State. It is just in the metropolis and a few roads. And he has had enough vehicles, BRT buses, solid, brand new buses, ready to, take people around those areas. And after that, what's the next? The next thing is...
the buses. Would this cater for demand? Would this substitute? What will those drivers be doing?
What with the tricycle drivers?
Yes.
They can go to the interlands where tricycle, can still operate. It's not throughout Kano State. We need to do. And believe me, that agency that announced is the equivalent of our own, LASMA. You get my point? So when you look at it critically, it is not throughout Kano State. It is within the metropolis, and all the major roads were listed that this road you cannot operate this. So what that means is that they want to modernize public transportation in Kano State. And when you look at the methodic approach, Governor Ganduje has employed, you won't have any reason other than to clap for him, because in some other places, they will ban first, then they will now be thinking about when are we going to provide alternatives. Nobody can complain about alternatives, because long before this, directive, the alternative was ready. You get my point? That's the difference. And anybody who believes that it will not create any uproar. And that is why the man was man enough to take this decision. In this season of politics, there are so many things you have to be very careful in doing. In this one, it's comfortable taking this decision.
Julie, this is a kind of replica of what happened in Lagos. Yes. At the point in time, we had these buses, yellow buses in Lagos, Danfo. Mulwe, at a point in time, it was littered all over the states and everything. I'm talking in terms of aesthetics, it wasn't even good enough. But when they came with BRT, we didn't know that BRT was going to be this successful. But today, BRT is a success story.
Yes, and it is because it's such a success story in Lagos that Kano State has also looked at it. Karota is the equivalent of LASMA in Kano, although they are far more aggressive in the way they do their work than LASMA in Lagos. And the governor told me the last time I interviewed him that they were expecting vehicles to kickstart their BRT scheme Because I moved around, I saw the places that they had marked.
Dedicated lanes.
Yes, for BRT. So I wondering, I said, when will you eventually start this? And they told me that the buses were coming. So now they've received 100 luxury buses. They can kickstart the program. More
100.
buses, yes, more buses will come. More lanes will be dedicated to the scheme. So this is early days, but this is a governor who is not afraid to take big decisions. Already, commercial tricyclists have been told you can't operate beyond 10 p.m. Kano, we never thought that Okada could be banned in Kano because Kano had far more Okadas than any state in Nigeria.
Yes, yes.
But they banned Okada at the height of the Boko Haram insurgency. They banned Okada and nothing happened. And then now they've gone ahead to say, okay, even tricycles, you can't operate beyond 10 p.m. because they were now using it to commit crimes. Gradually, the way we are seeing it, what Lagos has been slow in doing, that is in giving Lagos the true face of a smart city, of a mega city. Kano has begun to do it.
Leading.
Kano has begun to do it. Because Kano and Lagos, they are very similar in terms of population, in terms of commerce and all that. So Kano is already showing itself to be a leader. And that's what we are seeing.
Looking at the level of unemployment and poverty level in the country,
yes,
to implement this kind of scheme, what would those keke people, what would be an alternative? Because I'm aware that some of these downfall drivers, they were co-opted as BRT drivers into that scheme so that they don't lose their job outrightly. I don't know, maybe Kano State will be doing something like this.
Kano will certainly do it, and then, you know, these small buses, these small cars, those cars would also go to some of these, yes, you know, then no one is saying, oh, don't operate anywhere in Kano State. They can move into the hinterland. Actually, Okadas that are now a menace and a disgrace to this state are not supposed to operate in the metropolis. They're supposed to operate in the hinterland, where roads are bad, where you can't easily move around. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. But you now have Okada riding, people riding Okada on Third Mainland Bridge and other places that you shouldn't see them. So gradually, the tricycle riders in Kano will move into the hinterland to allow the beautiful cars to begin to operate in places in the metropolis where they used to go to. So that is the...
You know, this governor, when you look at him very well, when it comes to proactive leadership, you just fall in love with Governor Ganduje. You remember the cattle rustling before they became a national thing. I think Kano was one of the, you know, the epic center at the time. See where he handled the matter and he nipped deep in the bud.
He successfully had what you call amnesty for cattle rustlers. They used to populate the forest of Kano. His own amnesty program was very successful. And he also was first to start this whole idea of ranching. He came out and built the ranch in Dansoshia, where they can all come together and instead of moving around. He said, why should we? That's a former cattle rearer telling us that it makes no sense to be going from north to south.
Except that he's not a noise maker. He doesn't, you know, make a noise about his achievement. He's doing a lot in terms of, you know.
All right.